Everybody, it's Chrissy again. So I know I say that on Tuesdays it's Let's Talk Tuesday, just talking about anything in general, but I get so caught up in school, motherhood, life, everything that comes with it. So we're going to talk today, okay? So my topic for Tuesday was going to be about loving yourself. So I know that that's something that I've struggled for 20 plus years, and I'm 25, so you do the math. And it's been a struggle because, it's been hard, just to accept me for who I am, to love me for who I am. Stop comparing myself, stop hating myself, not wanting to be here on this earth. It's been a long journey, but I finally have come at peace with myself. And it was a struggle, but I made it. So the reason why I struggled was not because of how I felt internally about myself, but more so of like how people felt about me. Like, people used to pick on me, they used to call me African booty scratcher, charcoal, big lip bandit, ugly, nappy roots, whatever. Like, I've been called like everything in the book, including cuss words. And it's not that, I know my mom always told me, never care what people have to say, but I did. And the more people told me, what I am or what I look like, I started to believe it. So that's what I struggled with for God knows how long. And it's like I kept constantly hearing it. People just kept telling me this, telling me that. And I started to believe it. And, I hated myself for that because, I looked at myself as how people viewed me, but not as how I viewed myself. But that has come to an end. So a lot of females, males, people in general, I'm not the only one that goes through that. Like, I know so many people, and you don't even have to tell me. You can just tell how people perceive themselves. Like, if you're always calling out your flaws, you're always, like, oh my God, like, my hair is ugly, or like, oh my gosh, I have this zit or whatever, like blase. If you're always pointing out your flaws before somebody else gets to it, then that says a lot about your esteem. And I see like online, the media has just turned beauty into this thing where you have to look a certain way, you have to be a certain skin tone, you have to look like this celebrity and all that. And it's like, why can't we just be ourselves? Like, in the Bible it says, praise him because we are fearfully and wonderfully made. That's a validation of where our esteem and our love for ourselves should come from, because he also says that he knew us before we were even born. So, he knew how we were going to look, how we were going to be, what size we were going to be, and people still don't get the concept of that. And it's just because of what people say about us, it's what the media has perceived us to be or to look like. And it's like, you have to love yourself or nobody will. J. Cole made that plain and simple. Love yourself, girl, or nobody will. And you can have friends that love you, you can have your parents that love you, you can have school teachers that love you. But if you don't love yourself, the love that others give you don't matter. And that's what I had to learn. I had to learn how to love myself. I had to learn how to forgive people. I had to learn how to forgive myself for the mistakes I've made and just love myself. Flaws. I'm not perfect. I'm nowhere perfect. I've never been perfect. But God still loves me. He still has blessed me. So obviously I'm doing something right internally that is giving him privilege of blessing me in spite of my flaws. So I just see a lot of people that are not happy being single. They're not happy in their relationships because they know it's toxic and they should not be in it anyway. And it's like, we have to think inside for us. We have to think for ourselves and stop thinking to please other people. Because if you know that you are not happy single, you will not be happy married, because you're going to carry all that hatred that you have for yourself into the next thing, because you're expecting him to give you that love and attention and affection that you desire, but you can't obtain that because you don't obtain it yourself. I had to learn it myself. Like, I had to learn to love myself. Like, I am a prime example of wanting to be loved. I wanted to be cuddled. I wanted to feel affection or whatever. And that's why I had no standards in what I wanted. Like, I knew deep down my heart, for as long as I know I wanted a white man. Like I love interracial. I just always been for that, but I never said any. I mean, I've made it known, like subliminally and to public, because I feel like why should I be ashamed of what I want? But then it's like, no, you need a black man or whatever. You need that Greek love. You need that celebrity love, whatever. And I'm like, how you gonna tell me what I want if that's not what I want? Because I had no standards. I mean, I had standards, but I just lowered them because I had no type of standards for myself. I just took whatever came to me because I had no esteem for myself. And when you don't have esteem for yourself, you take whatever comes your way. This guy can have all the money in the world but still treat you like crap. But you guess what? You'll still stay because you're happy with the money. He could be the cutest guy in the world but still treat you like dirt. You'll still stay because you don't love yourself enough to look at him and say, okay, you're cute, but my happiness for myself and us matters the most. So I had no type of standards, so I used to take whatever came my way, and it was not right. Like even God showed me the sign. Like you have to pay attention to the signs that God gives you when you're in a toxic relationship. If you have to question his whereabouts, go through his phone, Facebook, Instagram, if you don't trust him around females, whatever, that not only says a lot within yourself, but it says a lot about the relationship that you're in. You do not need to be in it. So that's why you need to love yourself enough to know when enough is enough and know not to settle. That's the problem. We settle because we want to be content with what we have when there is so much better that is coming our way in the future. But we don't look at it from the future standpoint. We look at it for the moment, because you see online everybody's getting married, having babies, and you see everybody's happiness, but you can't compare your life to somebody's highlighted reel that they display on Facebook and MySpace and all that. Not MySpace, Instagram, whatever, because nobody's gonna put their trouble matters online for everybody to see, because that's an open door for people to add their drama, add their say so, and how you should, get out this relationship, leave him alone. That opens doors for that. So people don't put that stuff there. They only put happiness online when they know deep down inside you're not supposed to be in that relationship. God knows your beginning to the end, and he knows when that one is for you. Like my husband now, like I knew he was the one, and I know that's cliche, but I knew he was the one because like I said, I struggle with wanting to be loved and just want to be in a relationship, be happy, whatever. And it's like I knew I had all the signs, I had all the signs to show me that none of the relationships that I was in were healthy and they were not it. But when I really let go, I started loving myself. I started giving myself standards. Like when guys used to come to me, I'd be like, no, I'm good or whatever. Like I used to even lie to say I was in a relationship or I was married. I was nowhere in a relationship or married. But I knew I had to do that in order to not fall for anybody, because that was my problem. When I let go, I started loving myself. I stepped my game up. I started getting my hair done more. I went natural, so I was loving my natural hair, my natural self. I started, stepping my makeup game up, my dress game up. And I didn't do it for anybody. That's the problem. People need to stop doing stuff for, applause or for, validation in who they are. I did it for myself. And for that, I started loving myself. I started accepting myself. I started to love my dark skin. I hated being dark skin. I wanted to be light skin because light skin girls were getting the boys back then. And now it's like, you think about that stuff and it's like, why did that even matter? Because I'm beautiful. I look at myself in the mirror like, hey girl, you cute. And not to be conceited, I'm nowhere near conceited. I'm just humble because I've accepted myself, flaws and all. I'm not perfect. I've made mistakes. I've fallen short of my glory. I've done things that I know I shouldn't have done. But I always ask for forgiveness, not for myself, but for God. And he still blesses me. He still gives me love for myself. And I've been blessed tremendously for that. And that's why I want to, and send this encouraging word to ladies out there. Like, love being single. Why would you want to be in a toxic relationship just because you don't want to be lonely? Sometimes you have to be lonely in order to see brighter days. Like, I experienced I used to cry myself to sleep because I was so lonely. I used to just like look at people online and be like, oh, I want that. And it's like, I learned like I didn't want that, because who knows what they're going through, what they've been going through, whose man or whose woman they've taken that from. Well, I mean, obviously they weren't that person's man, but people like to take people's, people, whatever. So I had to learn that, and from that, God really blessed me with a great guy that loves me for me. Like, I don't have to wear makeup, I don't have to have my hair done, whatever, because he's still gonna love me, he's still gonna feed me, he's still gonna, treat me just as he does, and that's all that matters in. But because I feel like I've stepped my game up, I might as well keep my game up, So we just cannot love ourselves because of what the world tells us, how the world tells us we should love ourselves. We should love ourselves how the Bible tells us to love ourselves, and how we should love ourselves internally. Because you cannot expect a man, your friends, nobody to love you if you don't have that love for yourself first. It's really hard because, like I said, I've struggled with it for 20 plus years, and I'm 25. So that means less than 5 years ago, I still had trouble accepting myself. And that's because I was in an environment of multiple people wanting to be like them or wanting to fit in because I wanted to be cool. And it's like, I didn't need all that, because in the end of the day, I still was by myself. I had to. You think that you need people to get you to where you have to go, and sometimes all you need is yourself. You need to know where you're going, what you want to do, and go. People are going to drop like flies as you make it to the top, and you're going to see that, but it's all in how you perceive your life and yourself. So we have to love ourselves. We can't depend on a man, can't depend on a friend, can't depend on money to love us, because people are lovers of money, and they think that, oh, I got me a new car, I got me a new house, oh, I'm blessed, whatever. And it's not about the material things that you should feel blessed about. It should be the love that you have for yourself, the love that you have for God, the faith, trust, and hope in Him that He's going to bless you with those things. Not wait till you get those things to realize that you're blessed, because those things are temporary, and they are here one minute, gone the next. So why don't you get love? Love is unconditional, and that's what's going to take you. Loving people, loving yourself, loving your family, loving our kids, because our kids are the future. That's why I had to love myself, because eventually I knew I wanted kids. And I can't sit here and tell my child to love herself, to, step her game up, or not fall for anybody, when I had struggled with that myself. So I had to get myself in order for me to practice what I preach, pretty much. So, I mean, it's hard, ladies, fellas, whoever's struggling, trust me, it's not easy, but it's worth it. So love yourself, please. And when when He sees that love that you have for yourself, that's when He's going to send that unconditional love to fill in where you have open. Because you can't expect a man to come when you got Johnny, Jimmy, Abraham, Will Smith not Will Smith, but Will, whatever, in that spot. Because you don't want to be lonely. You want to be loved. But if you don't love yourself enough to realize that you don't need a man in that spot to validate that void that you have, you would never experience the unconditional love that God has for you. So remove that person. I don't care if they text you, say I miss you, I want you. If they wanted you, they would have had you. They would have worked hard to keep you. That shows how worthy you are. But if somebody has to leave you to realize and go to this girl, that girl, this guy, to realize that what they had was good, the validation and the worthiness of your heart is not even there. Because they had to leave you to go to somebody else that didn't even like them or want them. They just wanted one thing, probably money or sex or whatever, or avoid as well, and that didn't work out. So now they realize what they had, now they want you back. It shouldn't take that. They should realize what they have, when they have it, and work with what they have, and love you for who you are. But it goes to show you, when you love yourself, you don't put up with that. You don't have, when they leave, if they leave you, let them. Stop letting people that leave go. No, stop letting people that leave come back. If they want to leave, let them leave. God is going to send you somebody. But when we get caught up in wanting to go back because our past was better than our future, or we want this black love, whatever interracial love, we want that, and we're lonely for the moment, we're going to take anybody, our exes, anybody to fill in that void. Stop it. Don't do it. I learned that the hard way, and if I could go back and practice what I'm preaching now, I could avoid a whole lot of heartache. I could have loved myself earlier. I could have, just been by myself for so long. And then in 2012, when I was introduced to my husband, that's when it could have all fell into place.